Okay. Okay. So for today, we proceed for the next chapter on week 8. Okay, now we in week 8. Then next week, week 9, we have a midterm test. So for this week, for week 8, our topic is workplace security and health. For workplace security and health, of course, is more related to occupational health and safety. As you know, OSH management, hazard, what else? OSHA, Occupational Health Safety and Act 1994. Okay, so we go to learning outcome first. Okay, at the end of these chapters, I hope all of you to able know or understand about the governance structures and functions, and then you already know about or understands about the principle of workplace security and health, and related to safety management, and then understand a little bit about Occupational Safety and Health Act, or OSHA 1994. Okay. First, we go to introductions. Okay, safety and health and securities in a workplace actually is most important. Once kalau you bekerja lah in industry, every departments they have their own SOP or guidelines for safety and health procedures. Especially right now kita dalam COVID-19 pandemic, so for safety and health departments is very important. So every industry, every organizations, they're very concerned about the safety and health issues. Okay, so penting lah, memang penting lah for safety and health. Okay, and then for safety actually is referred to procedures and the others matters taken by leaderships lah bagi pentadbir lah untuk make sure all those orang kata tempat dia bekerja itu adalah selamat. Dia harus pastikan dia need to make sure all those employers berada dalam keadaan selamat lah around the orang kata workplace tu lah dalam mana-mana areas in the oil and gas industry, constructions, agriculture, transportation or logistics. They have their own safety parts lah. Difference orang kata industry actually is a difference implementation for safety and health. Okay, they have their own punya expertise. Even though you want to go any training for safety and health, then you need to focus which area you want to join lah. You nak terlibat dekat mana, which is you want to involve into oil and gas industries. So you need to focus on safety and health in industries, in oil and gas lah, ONGs. Or you want to involve to construction sites. So you need to have a yellow books as orang kata supervisors for construction sites, and then you need to have a SHO green books holders. You need to see in for a few tests or exam, and then you got the green books as a competent person, as a safety and health officers. If you don't have any green books or you don't have any cert in safety and health, so you just got the position as a safety and health executive or as a supervisors. Then we go to governance structures and functions. So as a governance, they need to have a orang kata effort to make some of the safety cultures or safety orang kata budaya lah dalam satu cultures in a good environments lah dalam satu persekitaran yang baik ataupun selamat in one's dalam satu tempat kerja. Okay. So as a governance, they have make sure all the relationship between of the board members, especially the top managements, middle management, and orang kata bawahan jugalah. So they need have a good communications amongst the every levels, so that they can implement a good safety implementations in one organization. So for safety and health, actually communication is most orang kata paling penting lah. That's why as a SHO or SHE or safety executive or safety officer, they need to have a good communication skills. Apa tu orang kata, let's say as a SHO in construction site, as we know, most of our workers in Malaysia, they are foreigners workers. So it's very difficult actually. Before this, I joined industry, so I punya pekerja-pekerja bawahan almost foreigner workers. So that a little bit of orang kata miscommunication sometimes because of they cannot understand actually a few words dalam bahasa Malaysia. That's why we using the others methods like we using manual card. Somehow kita gunakan supervisor lah, especially for foreigner workers. We have a supervisor just for foreigner workers only, so that they have a good communication with the supervisors. So we just explain to supervisors all the procedures, all the guidelines, regulations and so on related to safety to supervisors, and then supervisors explain clearly through dia punya staf bawahan lah, cakap dalam bahasa mereka lah. Kalau orang Indonesia dengan Malaysia is orang kata the certain words is very orang kata tak jauh sangat lah, compare to Bangladesh, dia agak sukar sedikit lah. So penting lah for the governance structures to make sure apa tu orang kata kita punya point itu sampai daripada top management sehinggalah tu apa tu orang kata level bawahan lah. And then we have a 10 corporates for governance. First is integrated business management system or IBMS. Okay, for integrated business management systems, and in one organization they have to apply IBMS or integrated business management system, as we call it as integrated because of every indicators we're using lah, for build up the IBMS. For examples, you have good influence through your pekerja-pekerja bawahan, you as a top management, so that you need to have a good influence to make sure your staff or your employees follows all the guidelines or the SOPs, so that is more to orang kata boleh mencapai. Once in our organization, we need to have our goals. For example, for safety and health, for example, we have a target for zero injury and zero illness or zero accidents case in a workplace, for example, especially to orang kata industri yang agak heavy, for example oil and gas, construction sites, it's very orang kata high risk industry. So dia punya target is just for kurangkan lah, less for every month punya case lah. Of course they have lots of accident case, especially for high risk industry. Compared to others macam yang saya pernah join for logistic, logistic is compared to orang kata construction site, oil and gas lah. Oil and gas industry is very orang kata lebih orang kata kurang lah. And then for management departments, kalau governments, we have macam pentadbiran kerajaan, so that dia kuranglah risk or hazard compared to constructions or oil and gas industries. So they need to have an integrated management system because of untuk achieve their profits. That's why they have their own KPI, key performance indicators or key performance indicators, or apa lagi satu index. Dia adalah untuk mencapai for dia punya departments. For every departments they have their own KPI. For HR department they have their own KPI. For HSE department they has their own KPI to achieve. For example, like I say, for HSE they want to less lah, kurangkan lah for accident case, illness or any injured punya issues lah sekurang-kurangnya for every month tu less lah daripada sebelum-sebelum ni itu normal lah untuk mencapai dia punya target And then we have a document policy management systems. It's more to orang kata as a cross checks factors for apa ni kata as a top management they need to have a documentation for every meetings is normal, but for safety and health they need to have a good documentation. For example, they want to apply for OSHA or ISO, right? ISO for 9000s in their industry, they need to have a good documentations. At least they are clear about the policies. They kena ada lah their own policy for safety management. They need to develop their own policies related to OSH management. Once they want to apply for integrated management system, for example, integrated management system, they want to apply for ISO 40000, ISO 9000, and then for OSHAs, so that they need to clear about the policy. And then they have their internal and external auditors, so that they have their own documentations for that series lah. They want to apply for 9000, so that they have the documentation special for 9000 ISO 9000. So it's very clear. Sometimes ada organisasi is cacah merbah lah, kadang-kadang tak organize, so that they need to have a organized or systematic, small systematic, lebih selamat ataupun lebih mudah. Once bila auditor or datang, they want to check your documents, you already dah ada dipamerkan, your policy is appear, you dah dah tampal dan sebagainya, all the you punya staff dah already understand about the policy for safety and health, for examples. And then once we external datang for checking for your workplace, so that less of hazard at workplace, and they want to doing any checking for hazard, for examples, hazard at workplace, and they have a table hierarchy, we call it as a hazard at workplace, so that kuranglah elemen-elemen elemen penolakan markah lah. Once bila auditor datang ni, dia cuma tolak markah. They want to checking about your you implement or not all the regulations or regulation, for example. So documentation is most orang kata benda penting lah dalam satu organisasi. And then ISO certifications, ni just for examples you want to apply for in ISO. As you know, ISO standards is such as we have a 9000. ISO 9000 is related to quality. And then we have a ISO 40000 is related to environments. And then we have a ISO 45000 is related to occupational safety and health. And before this, we have a 80,000 OSHA, OSHA 80,000. And but now they're rebranding lah, for ISO 45000. Ini related to safety and health. If you want to apply to integrated management system, okay, for ISO 9000, 40000 and 45000 is called it as a integrated management system. Once you want to apply ketiga-tiga semualah dalam your industry lah. It's good because of you already have competent persons to in charge all the flow untuk achieve lah. They need to have a good or competent person to manage all the regulations. They need to follow, for example, for OSHAs, so they need to follow all the OSHA Act 1994, and then for environments they need to follow all the EQA 1974. So you need to have a competent person, see in all the trainings, see in for all the certs according to ISO lah. And then we have a CAPA, corrective and preventive actions. Of course, once you want to apply for ISO, for example, ISO 40000, so you need to have a recruit leaders to lead in your organizations to apply for ISO 40000. And then we need to have a circle management. Circle management, that means how to, you started to apply, and then you need to have CAPA, corrective and preventive actions. Once bila kita dah apply, we have audit and internal audit and external auditors, so that we have feedbacks lah from them, and then we need to have a corrective and preventive actions, so that NCR lah, non-compliance results, so that NCR tu markah lah, your markah daripada auditors yang menyatakan you punya company not achieve for that levels or for that standards to got to get any cert lah, contoh you nak apply for ISO 40000, so that you punya markah tak achieve, so you tak dapat, you tak lulus, so you need to have teams lah, you need to have a team or communities to make some of the pembaikan, pemulihan lah daripada kesalahan yang you buat. For example, you nak apply for 40000, your company is not already ready, tak ada tong kita semula 3R, you don't have any recycle punya tong, you tak ada management untuk salur air yang sempurna, salur air kilang tak mencapai for that levels, for example dia tak capai 400 meter kepada filter, benda-benda begitu mungkin akan diambil nilai oleh pihak auditor lah, internal or external, especially external, internal amongst your clique. So compared to external, memang kita highest for consultants, so that memang agak sukar lah untuk achieve piawaian yang telah ditetapkan lah. And then routine internal auditors, audit, like I say, we need to have a good communities lah, we need to have a good communities. Once you want to apply for ISO 40000, for example, you need to set up your own communities for ISO 40000, you already have a documentation team, you have a AJK or team, and then you need to have promotions, which is we need to announce lah, kita ada wants to apply, kita ada company tengah nak buat apply for ISO 40000, so we need to announce lah, beritahu semua orang tahu semua, so itu AJK promotion for example, and then training, so kita kena make sure kita punya staff ni dah tahu to apply 40000, how to implement, for example you nak apply 40000, at least dah tahu recycles tu macam mana, they already know about the recycle techniques, policies, your policies tu memang orang kata memang paling penting lah, auditor akan tanya policy company you apa, kalau you punya staff tak dapat jawab, so that dah dapat NCR di situ, tu contoh lah. So memang perlulah internal audits, ni internal, we have internal and external. Internal yang dalam lah, amongst you punya clique tu, you lantik lah for internal auditors. And then we have a training management system. Of course, once you want to apply for any certs, for example for 40000, ISO 40000, you need to have a good training in terms of environmental management systems. Okay, for example you can hantarlah pergi ke IMAS for example, once you want to apply for 45000 for safety and health, you can hantar you punya staff ke NIOSH for example, to attend any course related to occupational safety and health, or any organisation yang offer consultants yang offer for OSH training or environmental trainings. Nowadays memang banyak lots of consultants, trainers yang TNT lah, what we call it as a TNT, training and trainers, so they can provide for your employees to get ni lah knowledge, to be a competent person for your company, actually it's good because of you need to orang kata melabur duit, end up you have a good staff lah yang very competence, is very orang kata yang boleh buat kerja, and yang boleh faham tentang all the concept of safety, for example, already knows how to apply for environmental management system. It's very complicated kalau you just you nak minta you punya staff belajar sendiri. So we don't have any choice, we need to hantarlah kepada mana-mana latihan atau training lah. And then risk management is related for hazard lah. For HSEQ department, HSEQ stand for health, safety, environments and qualities. Ada combines lah, which is health, safety and quality. Quality related to ISO 9000 lah, quality. And then environment 40,000, HSE health, safety, environment for 45,000. Okay, for risk management, it's more related to hazard at workplace. For example, your company wants to apply for 45,000, they need to have a matrix tables. I bagi contoh. Ni contoh matrix tables. Matrix tables ni they have their own formulas. Like the colors lah, ada color hijau, orange and merah lah. So dia kena declare lah which area yang red zone, orange or yellow zone. Dia depends on SHO lah, safety officer. They can decide according to accident case. For example, dekat area tu banyak berlaku accident, so that area under red zone. So kalau kat situ ada beberapa atau average accident, so they under to yellow zone or orange zone. Kalau area tu memang tak ada case accident langsung, jatuh, cedera dan sebagainya, is under green zone. So dia adalah formula dia for the calculation. Actually depends on SHO. Sometimes simple formulas. Kalau I dulu just manual calculations, and then I just highlights untuk mapping lah. I buat mapping dalam kilang. So dalam kilang tu area mana, pantry area is more to green zone, for example. And then untuk workshop, maybe is under kalau I dulu involved dengan logistik juga, so kat situ mungkin red zone. So kita dah clear which area under green zone, yellow zone or red zone. So it's good lah. Kita punya staff tu dah beware lah sikit kat situ, jadi kena follow all the SOP, follow the guidelines, and you need to using a safety equipment, at least you using a safety boots, for example lah. And then we have a supply chains. Supply chains is under kita kata profit oriented lah. Once kita nak dapat untung, kita kena have a good connections or networking with suppliers. So we need to follow yang latest punya nowadays harga barang semuanya naik. Okay, for safety and health we need to kita tak ada pilihan, memang kita guna safety equipment every day. We need to using safety mask, apa lagi yang kena guna diganti hari-hari, sanitizers. So benda-benda begitu memang kita kena guna. So for yang suppliers ni, kita kena mencari suppliers yang mudah dihubungi, yang memberi harga yang lebih rendah lah compared to others. So they can help to kita punya keuntungan lah. Untuk organisasi, for sure they need to find the others supplier yang orang kata lebih berbaloi lah, affordable in terms of price, in terms of qualities. For safety and health we have safety equipment, mask, Google, earplug. Depends on the industry lah. Sometimes for chemical industry is a little bit expensive for chemicals, because of the material of safety equipments, dia lebih mahal dan juga lebih quality lah. Glove for example, dia tak boleh simple glove. Dia kena guna glove yang tebal, yang berkualiti, yang anti acid lah. So kalau macam logistik safety di logistic areas, dia just a simple equipment, cukup syarat saja. Dia just focus on safety boots. At least it's normal lah, every industry they need to using a safety boots. Mask, right now we need to using a mask and sanitizer, itu normal. But for chemical industry is a little bit expensive. Dia lebih berbahaya. Oil and gas also, oil and gas industry also a little bit expensive. Peruntukan dia lebih tinggi compared to others industry lah for safety and health. Equipment maintenance schedules. For safety, safety equipment, like I said before, we have a mask, Google earplug, apa lagi, banyak safety boots. And then for equipment maintenance, fire extinguishers, apa lagi, sprinklers, yang pemadam water tu, yang pusing-pusing tu kan, tu, dan juga gelong hose, benda-benda begitu they need to have a maintenance lah, especially fire extinguishers. Kena ada auditor yang datang check bila expired dan sebagainya, quality dan sebagainya lah. Bomber pun datang untuk buat inspections. DOSH, Department of Occupational Safety and Health, dia akan buat inspections lah. And then for reporting, reportings, of course, a good governance relates of a goods data, especially for safety and health. We need to have a goods data according to any accident case or illness. Sakit pening itu perlu records, because we need to have good records under safety and health. Once bila kita nak run data, we have a good data, because of once bila kita dah tahu kita punya industri tu kerap sakit dan sebagainya, kita realise that kita punya industri tu mungkin terdedah lebih tinggi compared to others. So we need to maybe lebih orang kata concerns lah about the safety equipment. And then safety training kena lebih lagi kalau dah banyak sangat accidents, so dia kena alerts lah. And then safety management plan, for example, they can apply for the certain safety strategies lah, untuk kurangkan kes-kes kemalangan, kes kecederaan dan sebagainya, near miss accident especially. Near miss accident tu yang hampir-hampir berlaku kemalangan kecil lah. Ni just graphic for governance risk. And then we go to OSHA Act, Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994. In Malaysia, we're using OSHA 1994. Okay, started 25 February 1994 lah. That's why we call it as OSHA 1994 or Act 514. Okay, I just want to focus, which is for objective for OSHA actually untuk melindungi lah, untuk melindungi kita punya pekerja lah, kita punya pekerja daripada sebarang kecederaan lah, to make sure they are already safety lah. And then to protect the person at workplace, and then to promote an occupational environments for person at workplace, which is in terms of psychological and physiologicals. For management departments, maybe it's not to taklah terdedah kepada risiko, not in terms of high risk hazard. But for safety management, dia ada part of ergonomics. Once bila you sit ataupun duduk dekat kerusi, itu kita panggil ergonomics. In terms of dalam safety we call it as ergonomics. You need to apply for ergonomics. Ergonomics posture, you duduk, posture you bangun, posture you angkat barang. So you need to apply ergonomics techniques for inilah ya, untuk safety and health. You need to alerts lah, ada training untuk ergonomics. Itu penting. Dia boleh bagi efek kepada kita punya posture badan ataupun tulang belakang lah. And then under OSHA, okay, we have section 2, Okay, section 2 is focus on apa tu, certain peruntukan untuk pekerja ini termaktub dalam Occupational Safety and Health 1994 ni lah and then for section 15 kena to make sure kita punya majikan menyediakan satu tempat kerja yang baik ataupun yang selamat lah dalam keadaan yang selamat. According to, ni memang selalu kalau once bila SHO they using for this section section 15 untuk buat reports memang tugas SHO ni already untuk buat reports, not reporting and then presentations lah once bila ada accidents they need to have investigate dulu case tu and then reportings and then present to top management selalu section 15 ni selalulah they already citation according to section 15 of 1994 is under what accidents kan dia adalah buat citations. Okay. And then section 16 ni formulate the OSH policies ni biasa sajalah, ni jaranglah kita guna sebab it related to employers kan. Selalu kita fokus kepada employees lah tapi kalau employers dia tak apply for safety cultures, dia tak apply for safety regulations according to OSH for example dalam satu industri they need to have depends on industry kalau SME mungkin dia tak takluk lagi for multinational industry they need to have at least one competent persons for safety and health for example safety and health officer or safety and health executive, it depends kalau dia tak ada so that dia boleh dikenakan penalty 50,000 ataupun penjara lah sebanyak 2 tahun ataupun kedua-duanya lah yang ni according to OSHA 1994. And then yang lain pun sama sajalah duties of employees at works as employees you need to follow lah follow all the regulations, follow all the guidelines, follow all the SOP according to safety and health so that dia selamatkan diri sendiri dan juga orang lain once bila let's say you're driving lah you're driving a cars and then maybe you dah bawa betul-betul sometimes and then orang lain yang bagi accidents pada you kan itu sama juga contohnya dalam safety and health environments sometimes orang lain menyebabkan kita berlakunya kemalangan ataupun accidents Okay, to cooperate with the employers or any other persons you need to have orang kata terlibat samalah kalau ada sebarang programs ataupun any ideas you want to come up with any ideas related safety and health so that maybe lah it's good lah for you to bagilah pendapat untuk membantu safety department ni supaya lebih baik dalam industri lah dalam mana-mana industri ni sama sajalah saya rasa itu sahaja yang penting for OSHA ni dan saya nak fokus yang ni biasa sajalah then I want to jump to CSR corporate social responsibility lah CSR kalau you biasa tengok CSR programs kalau you dah pernah attend untuk Dr. Dr. Karya lecture for ADS 460 rasanya for CSR dia ada subjek management for CSR is related to orang kata safety and health management once bila kita nak bagi talks itu adalah orang kata dalam scope CSR talk percuma lah talks percuma to communities for example so that you boleh declare lah is as a CSR programs so it's good lah once bila you punya company for example Nestle saya pernah join lah CSR safety under Nestle dia buat talks and then dia declare itu adalah CSR programs and also in charge under safety and health departments. So just ambil SHO or SHE executive or officer untuk bagi talks according to safety and health to communities lah. It's free lah. CSR of course is free. And then related to ISO 26000 ni lah untuk CSR programs. Okay, I think that's all for tajuk safety and health at workplace ni, workplace security and health. So do you have any questions?
Tak ada, Doktor.
Okay.
Okay.
So okay, jap ya.